Hello, welcome again to a new video about the StatSuite application. In this case, we are talking about the new feature, neural networks. We have two menus, neural networks, train a network. We have explained this in another video. And now we are going to talk about using a trained network. If you have not trained previously a network, you cannot use this option of using a trained network. Well, if someone sent you a trained network and the file, the StatSuite file, in such case, yes, you can use it. But again, I really recommend you to first to have a look to the menu of training neural networks. Okay, so let's go to that menu. And as always, we have to begin from top to bottom. So the first thing we have to do is to select a trained network. We have no selection, we haven't selected a file yet. So I'm going to click on select. Then you can see that I am clicking there. Okay, yes. So this is the panel for selecting the neural network. So we click on seek file, and you can see all the StatSuite files you have in your device. Some of these files are data files, are not neural networks. For instance, if I try to load this ANOVA file, StatSuite is saying that this is not a neural network because it's a data file. In the same way, if you try to load in the data menu a neural network, it's going to complain because there you can only open data files. Well, so let's load a neural network. So from the previous video, if we load this one, we see this is a network with 3 inputs, 1 output, 1 hidden layer with 8 neurons, and it has been trained for regression purposes. Okay, if you remember, the objective was to predict the value of sepal length using the other 3 dimensions of the flower. So when you have selected a file, you can delete the file, you can rename it, or you can load it. Well, let's talk about rename it, because as we commented in the other video and in the PDF help file, some files are overwritten each time you train a neural network. For instance, default, okay, or these periodical files, they are overwritten. So if you want to use it, if you want to keep this neural network, what you have to do is to rename. It's very easy. Just type the new name and then you save this content. Well, but anyway, we want to use this example one. So we click on load. So you can see the name of the file, example one, and you have text information about the structure of the network, and you have a chart. This chart, you can export it, you can save it. So now we go to the button, select input nodes. Well, so let's imagine that we want to predict, and we have the length of one flower, so we have to input these values. So let's go to data, and I'm going to use the same values that in the PDF help file. So the first value is 3.2. You don't need to change the name of the sample, okay, because the neural network is only taking the values. But well, let's say that this is the sepal width. Remember, we want to predict sepal length. Okay. Now, the second measurement is 4.5. This is petal length. Okay, and the third one. And another comment, you can type these values in whatever sample. Okay, I'm selecting the first one, but you can do it in whatever sample, doesn't matter. This is 1.5, and this is petal width. Oh my god, this is iPhone 7, is a bit small. Okay, so let's go to global data, and we have here the inputs, and we want the neural network to predict what is the sepal length of this flower. Okay, so let's go to neural networks. I keep clicking. Okay, you see what I'm doing. Use train network, and now select input nodes, and we have these three inputs. And very important, it doesn't matter in which order you select the inputs. The first one is going to be this, and the third one is going to be that one. Okay, so we have three input nodes that match to the inputs of the neural network. And we have to select one output. And here you have all the samples of StatSuite. You can choose which you want, but of course the output is going to overwritten the previous content of the sample. So let's use this one, the next one, sample D. That's it, it's ready. There are some options that are not available because this is not a classification network. So just we reach the button of the panel and we click of use neural network. That's it. So if we go to sample D, this is the prediction. If you have trained your neural network, the prediction is not going to be the same, because each time you train a neural network, the first weights of the network are random, and the training starts with these random weights. So that's the reason that your network is not returning exactly the same prediction. So nice. This is, as you see, it's very, very, very easy. And remember that it's very easy to send to another person a trained neural network, because it's a StatSuite file. So it's very easy to send. You can send it by email. You can upload this to the Dropbox or OneDrive and so on. Well, so now I'm going to show you how to compute how good is this neural network when you apply to a data set and you know the exact solution, the exact sepal lengths of the flowers. Okay, so we have to load a data set to check how good is this neural network. But as I want people who has the trial version and the full version, I want both be able of doing that, we are going to use the iris flower data set again. The data set we used to train a network but it's the only data set we can load if you have the trial version, okay? So if you have the trial version, the large option, you will see that you can load iris flowers dataset. This is a full version, so I have to click in the first option, examples for the application, and iris flowers. Okay, load. Well, so now we have lost the previous values, it doesn't matter. And now I know the true values of these flowers, and I want to check how good is this neural network predicting these values. We did this in the training, yes, I know, but imagine that this is a new data set and you want to check it again. Okay, so let's go to neural networks, use, and then we have to select the input nodes. Okay, and the input nodes now, this is not correct, this is correct. And now StatSuite is going to complain, yes, because one node is at the same time input and output. Output nodes, yes. So now the output, we can do it, for instance, in the F sample. Okay, so on the F sample, StatSuite is going to write the predictions of sepal length. And then we can compare with this one. So let's click on close. And everything is ready. Okay, so let's have a look. Global data. And here we have what we want to predict. 5.1 for instance, first one. And this is 5.05. Okay, so what is how can we measure the performance? How good is the neural network? This is a regression task, so I can compute the mean square error. That is quite easy to compute. So let's do it. So the first one, I have to compute the difference between these two columns, between these two samples. How? We go to data menu, ImportExport, operations with samples, because we want to subtract two samples. That's it. Well, you see that we can create a linear combination of two samples. The output, the next empty one is this one. And I want, very important, I want to subtract one time the true value minus, very important, one time, where is the prediction? Here. So what I am obtaining is the residuals, the difference between the true value and the prediction. I click on calculate. So if I go to, well, I can do it here. These are the residuals. Okay, you can type the name if you want. Okay, so the mean square error, to compute it, I have to rise to the power of 2 these values. But it's very easy. We click on transform, and here is the power of 2. So this is now, what is next step? I have to compute the mean of these values. So I click on compute, and this is the mean square error. As an exercise, I recommend you to go to the menu regression, multiple regression, and to obtain what is the mean square error when you apply a linear model like it's multiple regression, and you can compare the performance of the neural network and the performance of the regression. But you can improve the regression if you include the quadratic terms. But well, it's up to you. Okay, you can compare what is doing a better task here. So this is neural networks for regression. And now let's talk about classification. Well, so let's select the neural network that was trained for classification. In my case, this one. And we can read it has 4 input nodes. Yes. So the idea is you find a flower, you measure sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and you want the neural network to predict if it is 1 setosa, virginica, or versicolor, the 3 types of iris flower. This is the objective of this neural network. So let's load it. Well, so input nodes. Well, we could do as before. I input 4 values and apply the neural network. Okay. So to make it shorter, the video, I'm going to show you how to compute the percentage of correct classifications when you apply this neural network to a data set when you know the correct solution. So again, if you want to apply this neural network to a flower, you only have to write these 4 values here, and then you obtain the prediction. But to make it shorter, I show you how to compute the percentage for correct classifications. So if you go to global data, you have here the 4 values, and for each combination of these 4 values, there is a prediction. The correct classification is here, classifier. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So let's apply this neural network to this data set. It's true that this is the data set we use for training, but well, it's the only one I can use if we have the trial version. Okay, so let's apply this neural network. Input nodes, this for 1. Output node, well, we can use the same one, F. And now we have 2 options: save real outputs, save predictions. Let's try both. First one, save predictions. So we click on use neural network. And let's have a look. The output is in F here. So this is the output, and we have to compare this output with the value of classifier. Okay, here. So first 50 values are 1. Here we see a mistake, a no correct classification. Another 1. Okay, and 3 here. Okay, remember that you will have different values. Well, so what is the percentage of correct classifications? When the network has done a good job, this value is the same value that in the classifier sample. So if we subtract, as before, these 2 columns, when the classification is correct, the value is 0. And when there is a mistake, the difference is not 0. So it's not going to be difficult. So we are going to compute the difference as before, but now a correct classification, the difference is 0. Before doing this, let me show you the outputs when we use this option. Okay, and you see that instead of 2, it's a value close to 2. The prediction is just rounding these values. The last one, they are close to 3. Okay, so this is what is really doing the neural network, but what we show, the prediction, is rounding these values. Okay, so we use the prediction, the rounded values. Okay, and now we are going to compute the difference. So let's go to data, ImportExport, operations with samples. So we use the same as before, residuals, but now the correct value is here. Minus, very important, minus F, the prediction. We click on calculate, close. And here, the residual 0 is a correct one. There was a mistake in 71, is here. So sometimes it's going to be a positive value, a negative value, but of course, when the value is not 0, we have a mistake. So I want to compute the number of zeros. How can I do this automatically? Okay, imagine we have 5,000 cases. So let's click on ImportExport, and now we are going to use the option generate dummy variable for regression. Okay, so what is the origin? I'm going to work with this column, the residuals. Destination, so the following one, for instance. And now, text or value to be converted to 1. I need, and you will see why, I need the correct classifications to be 0, because I'm going to count them. So when the value is 0, I want an output of 1. And in the rest of cases, that could be positive, negative, the output is going to be 0. And this is what I want. Okay? When the value is 0, the output is going to be 1. In the rest of cases, the output is going to be 0. So I click on generate. And then if we go to age, I see this. Okay? 1, 1, 1. If we go to 71, the output is 0, because it's a mistake. So now, if I compute the mean is going to sum all the elements. So it's going to sum the ones. And it's going to divide by the total number of elements. So this is the percentage of correct classifications. Again, if I compute the mean, numerator is the sum of all the ones, of the elements, so the sum of the ones. Denominator, I divide by the total number of cases. So the mean, I could click on compute. The mean is the correct percentage of classifications. Okay, you have to multiply by 100. Okay, so I hope you find the new menu for neural networks easy to use. This is the objective. And I hope I can find you with this application in your real life. So I see you in the next video.